Hi everyone, this is Anna Finch from Finch Press Publishing. Hope everyone's had a good day. Now, today's video is basically a vlog on my Camp NANOWRIMO project, as well as the progress, where I'm at with my novel. So, with Camp NANOWRIMO, I decided to go with the Mordred story that I was writing, but I'm writing the prequel first. I plan on writing a series for it, so a series of novellas, starting with Morgan Le Fay and Arthur Pendragon's origins, what they were like, what happened, what made them who they are, before moving into the bulk of the series, which is about Mordred. Who is he? What has he become? Who is he? What does he want? What his life was like, and what he becomes at the end. So I've got a very loose plot for it. When I say loose, I literally just mean I just want these couple of things to happen in this book, and this book. Although the Mordred one is more detailed with the plan, simply because I wrote the plan for Mordred first. If I can get it. So I wrote the plan for Mordred first, and I actually used, sorry, I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse, the 3-act structure, but I followed the 3-act structure template that Abby Emmons put up in one of her videos, and I've used that structure for a couple of other stories just to help me plot out the beats, I think is the correct term, of the novel. Then when I decided, I'm actually really interested in this story, I decided to push all the other stories that I was thinking about doing out of the way, and I began plotting out character arcs. Now, when I was plotting these out, before I started NaNoWRIMO, I actually used I had been watching the videos by Brandon Sanderson, the lecture series where he goes over things like plot, setting, character, world building, that sort of stuff, which, by the way, is very interesting, and I highly recommend you watch it. It has a lot of interesting information about writing, and particularly in fantasy sci-fi, but you can apply it to romance or other genres as well. So with the character arc, I took the 3 main characters. These are the characters I knew I wanted to write a perspective in. So the prequel, which is basically Arthur and Morgan Le Fay's origin story, is set in both POVs, and it's set, I'm planning on having it set past third person past tense for both of them. The Mordred part of the series, there'll be a couple of scenes with Morgan and Arthur, both in the past third person tense. Mordred's, at the moment, I'm thinking about just keeping it as first person past tense, simply because he's the main character of the series. So character arcs, so literally just, right, okay, I want these things to happen in their lives, I want that, and how I want to change it, like becoming suspicious, this certain event happens, and slowly plot it along. This is more about what I want happen to the characters rather than the overall plot. And I did it for Arthur, Mordred as well. With Mordred, though, I did it in the hero's journey structure instead of the timeline, simply because the overall story for Mordred will end up following the hero's journey. Something happens that pushes them out of their normal life. They go through this whole thing with mentors and that, and they eventually come to the end where they get their reward. So I did that. But with the plot, as in the overall plot, I literally just used what Brandon Sanderson did or said in the video. So promise, plot, progress. what am I actually going to promise regarding character arc and tone? What is the overall general plot? What do I want to achieve in each book? What's the end point for the characters? What is it building up to, and how can I show progress? And payoff is like, how can I make good on my promise? So I basically went through and did all that, and all the plotting, particularly for book 1 and book 2 too as well, book 2 and 3 and 4, has been about character rather than the overall plot. So characters, just the plotting just for the characters, so I know what they're like, how they're going to act, what they like, don't like. So when I write the chapters, I can get inside their head, particularly with Morgan and Arthur and Mordred, get inside their heads and actually show what they're like, and I need to know what they're like first. But plot, outside of just the general couple of points that I want to happen, particularly with the prequel, I'm basically just pantsing, basically, which is a first, at least a first for a novel, or novella in this case. Normally, I can only pants or short stories. I can sit down, write a short story in one sitting. And when I say short stories, generally my short stories are anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 words. Even when it was a high school assignment, I just wrote a lot. So I normally, at least for the novels so far, I've been outlining every single novel, every single idea I had. Originally, I'd planned on outlining all 4 novel ideas, so The Beauty and the Beast, redoing that again to make it more interesting for me. La Llorona, the assassin book that I'm working on with my brother, as well as the other idea of the idea I had for the Voiceless sequel. I planned on doing that, planning those all out, but I was just so into Mordred, I went with it. So my goal for Camp NaNoWRIMO, now on the NaNoWRIMO website, I've set it at 30,000, which is basically the length of one novella, 1.5 novellas in this case. Now that's on the website. My non-word count goal is to basically finish writing the first draft for the entire Mordred or Camelot Chronicles series by the end of the month. I want to, by the 31st of July, have a complete first draft for the prequel and the 3 Mordred sequels, because these are just novellas, not novels, so I can condense a plot into 30,000 words. The Mordred ones are probably going to be around 25 to 30,000 words, but the prequel, about 20,000, maybe a bit more with the way things are going. So I plan on doing that. Now, I had originally wanted to get the whole first draft, or the skeleton draft of the whole series, done by the 12th of July. I would still like to do it. I'm still going to try and get as much done by that date, because that's when the school holidays end and I have to go back to work. But realistically, I knew I could do the whole 4 book series as the novellas in 2 weeks. I know I could do it. I have written 10,000 word blocks before in one sitting, so I knew I could do it. Finding a motivation, different story. But realistically, I would like to get this done before the end of the month. So I've basically set a goal for me to finish with the first draft of the prequel by this Saturday, or this Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So about 3-4 more days. And I could do it. Just getting the motivation. I ended up attending a word sprint with Kate, that Kate Kavanagh was running, just to get the words done, because at that point I had only had the prologue and the first chapter done. I was nowhere near my goal of 4 chapters or 6 chapters actually at that point, or 4 chapters for that day. Nowhere near. Still nowhere near that. I haven't even finished chapter 2, and that's probably the longest chapter so far. It's like nearly 2,000 words, just that one chapter, when all the others have been shorter. So I want to get book 1 done by next Saturday, or by this Saturday coming up. Book 2 by Wednesday or Thursday. Book 3 by the following Saturday. And then book 4 by the Saturday after that. So I'm going to be busy in writing all this. With the reason why I've wanted to do this series, 1, it interests me, and I wanted to put it through Mordred's eyes, depending on, because I like King Arthur and the legends, and I like putting twists on them. Depending on how it goes, I may end up doing other novels connected to that universe, maybe. The Voiceless sequel, I had an idea for. Don't know if I may end up writing it next year in Camp NANOWRIMO rather than this, the NaNoWriMo in November. I would like to get the Beauty and the Beast retelling, the first draft, done in November instead. Voiceless sequel, I would like to work on that next year. Get the Beauty and the Beast one done, NaNoWriMo this year. Simply because the Beauty and the Beast one is the one I've had the most trouble with. And hopefully by November I can attend live write-ins and this whole thing with the virus is done rather than open, shut. So I live in Melbourne and they've decided to lock down certain suburbs. Some suburbs, by the way, don't have any active cases. So it's constantly changing. Anyway, now with Voiceless, it's currently with my editor. A copy and line. She's doing copy and line editing. So she's doing that, and she's Australian, so she actually knows, thankfully, knows the Australian English language, which is kind of a problem when hiring an editor, particularly if you want one that's on a budget. If you have a budget, hiring an editor, if you're an Australian, is kind of tricky, because both the US English is different from ours, and there's differences between our English and the British English as well. So it's a bit tricky, but thankfully I've hired her for that. So right now I should get that back by Sunday, if all goes well, which means next week at one point I'm going to be writing for camp and editing. What else? With Voiceless, I am at the stage where it's with the editor. I'm probably going to do one more round of editing after that with either a line editor or proofreader, depending on what's being picked up. But that's separate. I actually have to set up my ABN, Australian Business Number, my Ingram Spark account, fill in the draft digital tax form, set up Kobo, because I'm planning on publishing direct with Kobo, and also because Ingram Spark wouldn't let me choose to exclude Kobo from the print and ebook package. So I'm just going to do the print with Ingram and then ebook through draft to digital. One of the ones because draft to digital you can pick which ones you don't want to do, and set up Kobo separately, because Kobo, if I do an audiobook, I can publish directly to them, not just through Findaway Voices. I can get the recording done through Findaway, but I can also publish the audiobook directly with Kobo. And by doing it directly, I can get access to promotions. So they run promotions on Kobo for certain days, like Women's Day, whatever. So I can actually get access to that, whereas if I just did it through Ingram or through D2D, I may not be able to. Anyway, that's where I'm at with Camp NaNoWRIMO. I'm actually at 4,500 words for Camp NaNoWRIMO. So word count wise, I'm ahead of the word count goal that I put on the website. Personal goal, I'm not there yet. I would like to today get halfway through the novel, simply just so I can move past the sequel and get into the main chunk of the series. Anyway, also, if you like this video, hit the like button or hit subscribe. I've also started a Facebook. I've also got a Facebook page. On my Facebook page, I put quotes of the day, some tips for writer's block, and some writing tips, some resources that could help improve writing. I also put word prompts. I also put flash fiction prompts there, image and word prompts as well. So check it out, and if you are interested in that, check it out. Anyway, see ya.